PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper than PS5. For this, my favorite is the parade scene from Ratchet & Clank. Distant.
Hold up, let's back it up.
For this, my
hold up there, Mark Cerny. Hold up.
PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper than PS5.
I'm analyzing this. I mean, yeah. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I actually played it at 30 because at 60 on performance mode, it looked so blurry. It was ridiculous. It looked not great at 60 frames performance mode on the PS5. The main reason why I want a PS5 Pro is so that I could play Final Fantasy. My physical copy of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. PS5 Pro was officially announced, showed off by Mark Cerny himself. Let's watch this presentation. I think it's like 9 minutes, 10 minutes long. I haven't seen it yet. I want to see what Mark Cerny says. He is the architect of the PS5 Pro. He was the architect of the PS4. I don't know if he did like the Vita or not. Actually, I don't know. I guess I could look it up. Architect of the PlayStation Vita. Okay, so he did do the Vita. PS4 and PS5. He did not do the PS3. The PS3 was super expensive when that came out. You watching the enhanced paperweight? Yeah, enhanced paperweight, for sure. For sure. Switch digital, PlayStation physical? Ooh. Good call. Good call. Buying multiple copies.
Here to talk about the newest addition to our console lineup.
I haven't seen this, but I know people are not happy.
Technology. But first, I want to take just a minute to look at what we put in the original PlayStation 5 and how it delivers an exceptional gaming experience. When PS5 debuted in 2020, it brought a lot to the table. 8 Zen 2 CPU cores form the brains of PlayStation 5.
I have not played this game yet, you know that? The new God of War?
Into the hundreds. And frame
what was
rates
that
can be
game?
as high as 120 frames a second. PS5
Borderlands.
has a powerful RDNA 2 GPU.
My face
can run
annoying.
Anything from intricate details to fantastic worlds with vast panoramas to explore. Ray tracing allows for dramatic visual improvements, including reflections off of water or glass,
Jedi Survivor.
and the realism that comes
Avatar.
from real-time global illumination.
Dude, that game? This is Avatar. This looks kind of terrible in 4K. I'm not gonna lie. I'm talking about the quality of the YouTube video, right? I'm not talking about the game itself. I bought this game on PC and it looks incredible. My 4090 $4,000 PC was crying. It was literally crying and smoke was coming out of it. This game was designed for like a 5090. I'm not even kidding. It's crazy looking. I don't know how it looks on the PS5 though. I heard it looks pretty good still on PS5.
And the realism that comes from real-time global illumination. A custom SSD can load data at breathtaking speed, resulting in ultra-fast transitions between game worlds.
70% of your channel became Hoyo. Hey!
And data
I've been enjoying the games.
so high that traversal speeds
I like to pull for my gotcha waifus, alright? Don't worry, I'm working on it. Once I get them all beat, caught up.
To the sound of the games. With audio so real,
Demon
that we not
Souls,
even
huh?
need to see the enemies to know exactly where they are. Finally, the DualSense controller has haptics that let you feel through your hands what your character is experiencing inside of the game.
It's a cool game. That's a good game. Very good game.
It's wonderful to see such variety and richness of game experience.
About 2 minutes in, and he's just talked about PS5 regular. Pretty much saying that PS5 regular is an incredible console. Go buy one. Don't buy the PS5 Pro. Go buy the regular PS5. It's incredible.
Creators have made
2 minutes
amazing use of the hardware capabilities, but when I talk to them, I do hear about their desire for more graphics performance. The dreams of the developers are bigger than can be supported at 60 frames per second, and that leads to an aspect of modern gaming that we're all familiar with: graphics modes. It can be a difficult choice for players. Fidelity modes
On or off?
emphasize the visuals, typically through higher resolution rendering. These modes might also have enhanced detail or use more ray tracing. But the games only run at 30 frames per second. The visuals can be choppier, and the controls less responsive. Performance modes emphasize frame rate and interactivity, typically choosing to run at 60 frames per second.
This game is so sick, dude. Ghost of Tsushima.
Mainly by...
So it's talking about fidelity and performance mode, right? Fidelity is basically graphics mode, 30 FPS. Performance mode is 60 FPS, but at reduced resolution and reduced graphics in some cases. It just depends on the game. I mainly run my games on performance mode because it's just better. You know, 60 frames, especially for like a heavy action game. It's just better. But it depends. You know, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I actually played it at 30 because at 60 on performance mode, it looked so blurry. It was ridiculous. It looked not great at 60 frames performance mode on the PS5. The main reason why I want a PS5 Pro is so that I could play my physical copy of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at 60 frames per second, and it will look good. It won't look all blurry. That was my thought process before I learned that this doesn't come with a disk drive and everything else, and the price range is crazy.
By reducing the graphical detail until those frame rates can be achieved. When asked to decide on a mode, players are choosing performance about 3/4 of the time. Removing that decision,
they have that information.
Narrowing that divide is one of the key targets for PlayStation 5 Pro. We want to give players the graphics.
Talk more about human ear like last time?
At the high frame rates that players typically prefer. To do that, PS5 Pro substantially improves over PlayStation 5.
Is he going to show a tech demo of like a rubber duck in a sink of water?
First,
floating?
We made the GPU much larger and increased the speed of the memory it uses.
You know the rubber
the
duckies?
result is rendering that's up to 45% faster. Second, we made major upgrades to the ray tracing.
Oh, let me see that. Let me hear that again. I wasn't paying attention.
First, we made the GPU much larger and
67% larger?
The result is rendering that's up to 45% faster.
Okay.
Second, we made major upgrades to the ray tracing, taking a streamlined, accelerated approach that allows calculation of...
All right. Me being someone that owns a 4090 graphics card, which is like a $2,000 United States dollars graphics card on a PC. I own one of those. I play games that have ray tracing on it. It is extremely demanding, very demanding. PS5 Pro, I'm sure is gonna make ray tracing look a little bit better, but I'm gonna be real with you. There's no way in hell it's gonna be able to do the same graphical fidelity in terms of like path tracing that like Cyberpunk 2077 does on PC. There's no way, unless they do some sort of Houdini magic that I am unaware of. I don't see how it's possible. It's gonna look better, I'm sure it will, but is it like 700 United States dollars better? I don't know.
Arrays at double or even triple the speeds of PlayStation 5.
PS5 showcase. So in the PS5 showcase, he explained the human ear for 45 minutes. Oh, because of the spatial sound, right? Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
And an AI library called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR for short. PSSR.
I'm pausing a lot, I'm sorry. PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution. This is basically the PC equivalent. I know I'm talking like I'm well informed. Trust me, this stuff was leaked like a week ago, and I did some research. So I know a little bit. PSSR is the PlayStation equivalent of DLSS, NVIDIA's DLSS, which is incredible. It can really make your games just look so much better without, you know, bogging the performance. So, for instance, you could play a game like in 4K DLSS, but it's only taking but it's only using the performance of like you running the game at 1080p. So it really helps with performance. It really boosts performance a lot.
Analyzes the game images pixel by pixel.
It's AI upscaling pretty much.
Extraordinary amount of detail.
Or machine learning.
The effective resolution.
I think AI upscale, like this is a buzzword, right? I think we're in a time where AI is definitely a buzzword. I've seen like Samsung TVs when I go to like the electronics store, and they'll have AI up there and be like, hey, if AI enhanced TV, $4,000. Oh, you want this new OLED? See how it says AI on there? Clap $5,000. So this is definitely a buzzword. This technology has been around for since 2009. I started hearing about super sample, like machine learning, around 2019, but it was probably even before that. Maybe 2018. I've been hearing about it for a while. So it's nice to know that PlayStation is offering their own version of this. I don't know if it's going to be any better than DLSS, but if it's as good as DLSS, that's pretty good.
Of the games.
It might actually help a lot
adding PS5 Pro support to new and existing titles.
And this is my hope, that their DLSS, their PSSR, right? PSSR pisser. Their pisser technology is just gonna make Final Fantasy VII Rebirth look so good at 60 frames per second. That's my hope. It's pretty much the only game I care about, because everything else, I think I'm satisfied with how it looks. Like Demon Souls looks, I have no objections on how, I have no problems with how that game looks at 60 frames. That doesn't, dude, he looks so old. Sorry.
Titles. And with the big three involved, the results can be pretty amazing. With graphics showing something like fidelity levels of detail.
Are you gonna show a rubber ducky?
The frame rate. Here's The Last of Us Part 2 running on PS5 Pro. It has huge amounts of detail and targets a super smooth 60 frames per second.
This does not
Let's
look...
compare this to the fidelity mode on PS5, which is only running at 30 frames per second and is therefore much choppier.
Choppy?
This goal of delivering almost fidelity-like graphics
I mean... 30... This is the creator, the architect, not the creator, the architect, well, pretty much the creator. The architect, the designer of the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, PlayStation Vita, high position in Sony. He said 30 frames is choppy. Yeah, I mean, compared to 60, it's definitely choppy, and it takes a while for your eyes to get used to 30 frames per second. Like, if you just play a game at 30, like 20 minutes in, it doesn't bother you anymore. Now, the problem is when it's fluctuating 30. So if it's like at 30 and then it's dropping down to like 25 or 24 frames, and then it goes up to 27, and then it goes to 30, and then it drops down to 27 frames, and then it goes up to 30. If it's like fluctuating frame rate at 30, that is not good. I'm looking at you, Bloodborne. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you, PlayStation and Sony. Where's Bloodborne, dude?
To the fidelity mode on
It's going to be a
PS5,
remake
which
on
is only running at 30
PS6.
frames
Just
per
watch.
second and is therefore much choppier. This
This
goal of delivering almost fidelity-like graphics at performance frame rates has been achieved for a broad set of titles, including Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. We can see that PS5 Pro is close to doubling the power of PlayStation 5. Another way to compare the two consoles is to look at PS5 Pro.
That's their
versus
PSSR at
performance
play.
mode on PS5, both of which target
Their
60
pisser.
frames per second. What we see here is a difference in detail. PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper than PS5. For this, my favorite is the parade
Hold
scene
up.
from Ratchet & Clank. Distant.
Hold up. Let's back it up.
For this, my
Hold up there, Mark Cerny. Hold up.
PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper than PS5.
I'm analyzing this. I mean, yeah. The thing is, I'm running this at 4K on YouTube, and there's still like compression. So this is not ideal way to show off, you know.
For this, my favorite is the parade scene from Ratchet and Clank. Distant details are much clearer. And here we can see Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is noticeably higher resolution throughout the scene.
Very
including
noticeably.
The trees and procedural cars.
Very, very noticeably, Mark Cerny. Very Where's the rubber ducky in the sink? Huh? I mean, yeah. Ah, man. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, he's not wrong. Yeah, those look better, but Jesus, dude.
And procedural cars.
It'd probably be better to show off
overall, some remarkable improvement to the games.
A new game.
PS5 Pro, we can see increased sharpness to the graphics, or smoother and more responsive.
I see the angle is different, but I don't see it. Well, see, here's the thing. You're watching a live stream at 1080p off of a 4K YouTube video. So you're watching me through a 1080p live stream while I'm watching a 4K YouTube video. So it's like you're watching through my eyes through two different streams. Through two different videos. You know what I mean, right? It's confusing. It's so confusing. I can't even explain it properly. If you're planning on running games at 30 FPS, you need to jump back into planning. I'm too spoiled for this. Being at 444, then to 240, 60 FPS is fine. But it shouldn't be the standard for a system that could be running far stronger if they turn down the RTX. Yeah, like I said, Plastic, I have a... I'm not bragging when I say this. I have a 4090, right? It's a $4,000 PC that I bought custom made on a sale. So I didn't even pay $4,000. But if you were to break it down and if I were to resell this, I could sell it for $4,000 worth of money. I've played games at high frame rates. This is my interest with PS5 Pro was so that I could play my old games. It's crazy to say that. So I could play my physical copies of PS4 games and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is only on PlayStation 5, at least for now. So I can play those better, at better quality. The thing is, this presentation is the way he's demonstrating the graphical upgrade is terrible. The way he's demonstrating it. I'm sure it's gonna look. I'm gonna buy a PS5 Pro, but is it worth $700? Hell no, dude. No, it is not worth $700. My opinion, it's not. It's really not. And this not even without the disc drive, dude. With the disc drive, it's $800. But I'm so like I'm a collector. I like buying physical games and I like having old consoles. So having a better PlayStation 5 that can play my PS4 games at a boost resolution or something like that, it catches my interest, but I'm not happy with the price. No disc drive and no stand, so I heard. Yeah, that's what I heard too. I haven't seen this presentation yet, but I've been hearing people talk on Twitter X, and this comes with no disc drive. However, a week ago, I did hear in a leak from like a reputable source that the disc drive that you can buy separately, that's for the PlayStation 5 Slim, will work, will fit, will, like a transformer into the PS5 Pro, and it will have a disc drive, but that's an additional $80. And me knowing this, or knowing that this was the possibility, that this was going to be the case, I bought a disk drive a week ago just so that I could be ready, because I knew that scalpers were going to buy the shit out of this disk drive and it was going to be sold out. I need to look after this to see if they're sold out or not. And I'm pretty sure they probably are. If not, then they will be. And I'm already prepared that they're going to be like $100 and something. They're going to be like super expensive on eBay or secondhand market, you know? You had a PS4 Slim and PS4 Pro. I didn't see much difference in your opinion. Yeah, I had one too. I had a PS4 Pro. The differences was very negligible, negligible, you know, it was very little. Like, it gave you the option. The first game I played on PS4 Pro was Neo 2. I think Neo 2 had the option to go into like performance mode or fidelity mode, graphics mode or performance mode, right? And I noticed there was a difference, but it was very, very little. Anyways.
Responsive gameplay. This is the big three showing their value. As you've been seeing,
the big three. The big three was Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. Those are the big three.
Our library is being used.
They were the big three.
To add pixel detail and boost frame rate. But there are as many approaches as there are game engines. The increase in raw.
You skipped on the PS4 Pro, made zero difference in the grand scheme.
For Horizon Forbidden West. Apart from the detail boost, that extra graphics power is allowing for improvements to life.
By the way, I'm pausing a lot, and I apologize for this. It's a 9-minute video, by the way. Every single game he has shown so far are PS4 games. Just think about that. Horizon, Charles Barkley's Slam Jam, whatever the hell it's called. Charles Barkley's Horizon Slam Jam. This game is on PS4. Last of Us 2, which he was showing a lot of, PS4. They're all PS4 games. The only one was Ratchet and Clank, right? That one was actually PS5 exclusive, and it's still only an exclusive game. No, you know what? Maybe it is on PC. I think that game is on PC, but it's a PS5 console exclusive game. So that's the only game that's only on PS5 and on PC. Yeah. Spider-Man 2 was there, which is PS5 only. Oh, is Spider-Man 2 not on PC yet? I didn't know that. Detroit Become Human were two of the most gorgeous games on PS4. Dude, PS4, here's what's crazy. PlayStation 4 is way more affordable than a PS5, and it still looks good. There's good-looking PS4 games. I could put in, you know what's a good-looking PS4 game? This is a good-looking, hold on. I just went to my PS4 collection, physical games, and I pulled out 3 games randomly, just 1, 2, and 3. Killzone Shadowfall. This is still a good looking game. It looks incredible. Now, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but by the way, same developers as Horizon Forbidden West or whatever, right? Uncharted 4. It's an incredible looking PS4 game, right? Soul Calibur 6. It is a good looking fighting game, in my opinion. I don't know. It's just 3. See, this is the reason why a PS5 Pro caught my attention and why I wanted one, was because I would be able to play these games on that, and it would use their DLSS, their PISR, right? Their PSSR machine learning super resolution technology to make these games run in 4K. That's the idea, right? But they're selling it without a disk drive, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard or seen. Sony is just, arrogant Sony is what they're called. I like PlayStation, I like PlayStation games, but when Sony tends to get arrogant a lot. And the thing is, they don't have competition anymore. Like, Xbox already admitted defeat, that they lost the console war last generation, PS4, Xbox One. They lost. They themselves admitted defeat. And now they're like going a different route. So there's no competition for Sony for PlayStation anymore, right? Ghost of Tsushima, yeah, that's another good one. I have that one over there too. They have no more competition, so they can just charge whatever the hell they want. They could charge $900 for the PS5 Pro if they want to. They can charge $900 for the PlayStation 6 if they want to, because they don't have competition anymore. Xbox is going a different route. I think Xbox is leaving the Xbox only one in NA though. On the 360, is that what you're talking about? Probably, yeah. The thing is, the PS3 eventually like did really well, but that was later, right? At launch, it did not. It was really behind, especially with the $600 price point. This was years ago, right? Like the PS3 cost as much as the PlayStation 5 Pro with like inflation and all that stuff. So what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, Xbox they're I think they're getting out of the console business, if my honest opinion. I think that their next Xbox is going to be called the Xbox PC. You know, that's a little straight on the, that's a little, right on the nail, right on the head, or whatever you want to call that. But I think they're going into a PC/console hybrid. That's what I think. And it's going to have like Xbox Game Pass. I think that Game Pass is the only thing that's keeping Xbox relevant, is Game Pass. Yeah. I want Xbox to do well, because that way there'll be competition. Nintendo does their own thing. They're over there like with Mario and Zelda and Link and doing their own thing. So Nintendo does its own thing and everyone else just copies Nintendo. I wouldn't be surprised. I won't be surprised if Xbox eventually does like a Steam Deck style, Game Pass handheld. And then PlayStation eventually does a PS4 handheld. Like it'll play games that in PS4 quality, but it'll be a handheld. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if they'll do the handheld route, but Nintendo always chase after Nintendo, because Nintendo like innovates and they really try to do things out of the box. Most of the time it's successful, sometimes not so much. Wii U definitely didn't work out in their favor, but the Switch is a home run for them, that's for sure. They're still selling crapload of Switches, and they're still coming out with Switch games, and then Switch 2 is probably right around the corner. So yeah, anyways.
Lighting and visual effects, as well as to the hair and the skin.
Handhelds will get washed by Nintendo, like always.
Dwarf's orders.
Like always. See, that's the thing. Nintendo are experts on handhelds. You know why? Because they've been doing it for a very, very long time. They've been doing handhelds since the 90s, dude. Right? 1990s with the Game Boy. Or was that 80? When did the Game Boy come out? That was a long time ago, dude. That was in the 90s. And I never owned one, but I've seen friends that have had them, and they've let me play on them. Freaking bulky ass things. It was incredible at the time. I think they used like 6 AA batteries or something like that. But Nintendo has been like, they have controlled the handheld market. They have been in control of the handheld market for a very long time. PSP was like PlayStation's best attempt at it, and it was successful. It was super popular, especially in Japan. PS Vita came out. It didn't survive very long. It was an incredible handheld that did not survive. It was just too expensive. Nintendo had the 3DS. They had the 2DS. It was like backwards compatible with like DS games. PlayStation Vita was backwards compatible with nothing. I think Game Boy came out in 1995. Yeah, 1989. Was it 89? Yeah, I knew it was somewhere around there. It was like in the 90s or something. 89. Yeah. That's crazy, dude. Yeah, like, I mean, look. Game Boy Color, right? This was the successor to the Game Boy. Incredible portable gaming handheld, right? It could play Game Boy games. So it could play regular Game Boy games, Game Boy Color games. It was backwards compatible, right? This is the Kiwi one. This was by the way, this is not the original one that I owned back in the day. I lost all my video games. I lost everything. My house burned down like years ago, and I lost my whole collection. PS2, Dreamcast, Sega Genesis. I had my sister's Sega Genesis at the time. That was gone. My brother had his PlayStation, so that was saved. My PS2 was gone. All the games were gone. Nintendo 64 gone. I lost everything. So I rebought this in the same color that I had one, and then I ended up rebuying the Glacier Game Boy Advance, which is also incredible. Game Boy Advance was backwards compatible. Yeah, this was backwards. Now the freaking Game Boy Color game was sticking out of it, so you had to be a little careful because you know a lot of it would stick out. But yeah, and then the upgrade of this was the SP, right? So it was like actually had like a backlit. My point is that Nintendo, they know how to do handhelds, and their handhelds always sold well. So when they did the Switch, which was a hybrid console / portable handheld, they found the secret formula. And this is why I think the Switch 2 is going to be like a Switch. It's going to be like a Switch. It would be stupid for them to not make it like a Switch. I don't know if it's good. Excuse me. I don't know if it's going to be called a Switch 2, but I won't be surprised if they do call it a Switch 2. Maybe it might not be a good idea to call it Super Switch because Nintendo likes to, you know, their names on their consoles are always out there. It's like Game Boy and Game Boy Color are the only ones that like seem logical, right? Everything else that they did was like way out. Or Game Boy Advance, right? It kind of seemed. They don't go the numbered route. They don't do like Game Boy 2, Game Boy 3, you know, Nintendo 2, Nintendo 3. You know, they went Nintendo 64, which was like, huh? Yeah, they don't do the 1-2 thing. They never have. And I don't know if they're going to do that with the Switch. I think that they should in order to avoid confusion. But I think that since the Switch sells so well still, that they could get away with it. They could call it like a Super Switch, you know? And they could get away with it. I think that'd be kind of sick. Super Switch? I don't know. Whatever they may do, or whatever they do, the one thing they need to make sure they do not do is they need to make sure they don't or how about I say this? They need to make sure that it's backwards compatible with Switch. How about that? That's what they need to make sure they do. Reminder that N64 was supposed to be called Nintendo Ultra 64. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. That was with Killer Instinct, right? Right? Killer Instinct? Anyway, sorry. Derailed.
Ray tracing is finding broad usage as well, particularly when the games are focused on higher frame rates. The faster hardware in PS5 Pro can make a real difference. Allowing Gran Turismo 7 to add ray-traced reflections between the cars in gameplay, while continuing to support their targeted 60 frames per second.
All right.
That boost in ray tracing is also delivering big wins for Hogwarts Legacy, allowing not only for better reflections and a greater variety of reflective surfaces, but also for further realism in the casting of shadows.
That doesn't look 60 frames per second.
I hope you've enjoyed this run-through of the technology behind PlayStation 5 Pro. Simply put, it's the most powerful console we've ever built, and a worthy addition to the PS5 family. Let me wrap this up by giving
Switch XL OLED incoming.
on the new console.
I've said this before. Nintendo's last DS was called 3DS. Sorry, new 3DS XL. So when you go to a store to buy, like let's say you go to a GameStop, lol. If you go to buy a used new 3DS XL, you have to put used new 3DS XL because that's the name of the console of the portable. It's called the new 3DS XL. It's very confusing, but that's the way they named it. Yeah, that design was leaked a week ago. Had like the 3 stripes on there. Oh my god, they actually are showing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, dude. This is the game I want to buy a PS5 Pro for this game. I have a physical copy, so again, disk drive and all that stupid stuff. Oh, I'm sure you could just wait a year and this will be on PC. Now the question is, will it run good on PC? Because Final Fantasy VII, Square Enix tend to do bad ports, and it takes them a long time to fix it, if they even fix it.
Close your eyes. It'll be worth it.
Okay.
Dude, that is crazy that they're throwing demon souls.
Did I do it? Oh, what is this?
That's a launch game for PS5, by the way. Oh, Alan Wake 2? Oh, a new game. They're actually showing Assassin's Creed Shadows. What is that game? Oh, it's the first Descendant. Okay. All right. Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Nintendo Entertainment System, N64, Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Wii, PlayStation 5 Pro, available on November 7th? I missed that part. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Vertical stand sold separately. Then why are you showing it, you assholes? The journey continues with PlayStation 5 Pro. So you have a larger GPU, advanced ray tracing, AI-driven upscaling, PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, which is their DLSS. Full details. Is there a blog? There is a blog. Okay. We'll read this blog. Update on September 26, 2024. Pre-orders will be available directly from PlayStation at directplaystation.com at participating retailers and at participating retailers in territories where directplaystation.com isn't available. On October 10th, 2024, pre-orders will be available at all other participating retailers. So you'll be able to pre-order on September 26th directly from PlayStation. Everywhere else, you'll have to wait till October 10th. Okay. We developed the PS5 Pro with deeply engaging players and game creators in mind, as many have asked for a console that runs even higher fidelity graphics and smoother frame rate at 60 FPS. We achieved this on PS5 Pro with several, with several key performance features. Upgraded GPU, all right, advanced ray tracing, AI-driven upscaling. An AI-driven upscaling that uses a machine learning technology. See what I mean? This has been around for a while. Like 2019, I remember playing, I believe it was 2019. I remember playing a Resident Evil 2 machine learning upscaled version on PC. Resident Evil 2 original. To provide super sharp image clarity by adding an extraordinary amount of detail. This is the big one right here for sure. This. Upgraded GPU is going to be good for this. That's why the upgraded GPU is happening, so that it can take advantage of their PSSR machine learning based technology. PS5 Pro provides gamers with amazing graphics at high frame rates. You can hear Mark Cerny, lead architect for PS5 Pro, discuss the innovations. Okay. Other enhancements include PS5 Pro. Here we go. Other enhancements includes PS5 Pro Game Boost, which can apply to more than 8,500 backward compatible PS4 games playable on PS5 Pro. This feature may stabilize or improve the performance of supported PS4 and PS5 games. Enhanced image quality for PS4 gamers is also available to improve the resolution on select PS4 games. The height is the same as the original PS5 and the width is the same as the current PS5 model to accommodate higher performance specs. Players can add Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drives or swap out console covers when they become available. PS5 Pro fits perfectly within the PS5 family. of products and is compatible with PS5 accessories currently available, including PlayStation VR 2, PlayStation Portable, DualSense Edge. Okay. PS5 Pro console will be available this holiday at manufacturers' suggested retail price $699. It will include a 2 terabyte SSD. Huh. All right, I'm gonna be careful in scrolling on Twitter X because there's, girl flashing her boobs like, oh, how about instead of paying $700 for that, you give me $700 and I show you my boobs. Let's just say you really, really, really like video games, PlayStation games, trophies, all that stuff, and you have the money, and go for it. But I know a lot of people are out there that, don't have that type of money, and this console is out of the question. Definitely out of the question. So yeah. $700.
Webcams activated.